Okay, so this video, it's either going to be a mini series or just one very long video. It's going to be the basics behind cold weather clothing and proper layering. Now, one of the biggest threats to you doing anything in cold weather is hypothermia. Your body can only keep you warm so long, and if you factor in dehydration and lack of food, which your body can convert into heat, body heat, the necessity for proper clothing raises exponentially. So, just slight background. Right now, we're in Minnesota, and it's about 5 to 10 degrees right now. I'm just in my unheated shed because of what I'm wearing. If I was inside my house right now, I'd be sweating. I'd be anxious to take all these layers off. So it's about 5 to 10 degrees right now. And thing is, I'm toasty right now, and I'll show you why over the course of the video or the series. But one of the first criteria is every person's different. How their body will handle cold weather will vary from person to person. If you live in an environment with a lot of cold weather, your body is probably more acclimated than somebody from, say, Texas or Florida or anywhere down south, where all they have to deal with is picking the right sunscreen and wearing the right sun hat. All those factors play in. On top of that, you have to factor in your BMI, how much mass, whether muscle or fat, you have on your body, what kind of foods you'll be eating, how hydrated you are. Like I said before, if you haven't eaten for a day, it's going to be harder to keep your body warm. If you're eating, say you're camping out in the winter, and you're eating, say, 3,000-4,000 calories a day, then your clothing necessities will probably be a lot less because your body's just kicking out body heat. Now, the first thing to understand about cold weather clothing is any type of clothing does not create heat. All the clothing does is retain heat. It captures the heat that your body is putting out. It's capturing it and it's holding it against your body. A lot like a house. The insulation in the walls and the vapor barriers in the walls, those things don't create heat. They slow down the transfer of heat from one area to another. Heat's attracted to cold, so if it's colder outside of your house, that heat will naturally gravitate towards the coldness. So all the insulation is doing is slowing down that process. The insulation, the fiberglass, whatever you have, is trapping dead air. So it's slowing down that heat loss or heat transfer. So the human body's a lot the same way. Your body is putting out heat, and it has to remain, just like you keep your house at, say, 70 degrees or 75 degrees, your body has to be at a certain core temperature, or otherwise you'll start suffering from either hyper or hypothermia, heat stroke, frostbite, and everything else. And then on top of that, just being cold in general is not comfortable. So if you're going out in the woods and you want to bushcraft or you want to camp, hike, whatever the case may be, it doesn't even matter so much as you have to worry about hypothermia. If you're uncomfortable in general, you won't enjoy your time as much. Now, like I said in the beginning, this will probably be a multi-part series because there's a lot of background before I just start showing you this is this and this is this. In the priorities of survival, depending on the circumstance, they can be at different levels, but shelter, no matter what the situation, tends to be towards the top. And when people think of shelter, they think of debris shelters, lean-tos, tarp shelters, tents, fires to keep warm. In the snow, maybe igloos or snow dugout shelters. In the jungles, like I said, lean-tos, hammocks, stuff to get you off the ground, to keep you warm, to keep you cool. That's what people think of first when they think of shelter. But the fact of the matter is, your clothing that you wear is your first line of shelter. So that a poncho you turn into a poncho hooch, a tent, a tarp, a hammock, fire, a super shelter, sleeping bags, all that stuff are higher tiers of shelter and warmth. But your first line is the clothing that you're wearing. So I don't think a lot of people emphasize enough proper clothing, especially in cold weather. So you might have this super duper down sleeping bag that's good down to negative 40 degrees that packs up to the size of a football, blah blah blah. You might have this tent or a teepee, wood stove inside, all this stuff. But while those things are important, you have to still keep in mind the shelter that's on your body, or the clothing that's on your body. So if you start thinking of your clothing in that sense as shelter, you'll see that you'll want to put a higher importance and a higher priority on clothing. And I'm not just talking about wearing clothing out in the woods to look stylish or to wear the latest threads, to walk around the city and have your newest leather jackets and patent leathers. I'm not talking more about how you look when you're out in the woods or anywhere in general. I'm talking about the functionality of those clothes, not so much the fashion. So this video is running up on close to 10 minutes. So I'm going to flip to a new video and we'll start discussing different layers of clothing.